Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like MeTV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.
Hi, I'm John Mallis, and welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Wednesday morning. And today we're going to be talking to a World War II veteran, a man who marched all the way into Germany through Berlin, 1944-45. He is one World War II hero. He's in our studio today. 436 MeTV option 11. Now just keep in mind, you got to turn down the sound on your television set before you call in. If you're on the phone and the sound is up, we won't be able to hear you. We're back with our program in just a moment. Today we're going to be talking to a World War II hero. There is no question about it. There aren't too many of them left. And you might be asking the question, why is it that after all these years, decades now, we celebrate and hail these people as heroes so many years after the war, of course, ended in 1945? It's because they are due their respect, that they put their lives on the line for this country, and certainly the country was hanging in the balance one way or the other. They really did save the country from the Germans and the Japanese during World War II. There is no question about it. But this young man I'm about to introduce you to fought in the war in 1944-45, marched all the way into Germany. He fought in the 90th Infantry Division under the one and only General Patton. I'm sure you've heard of him. Somehow he dodged bullet after bullet after bullet for months as he marched toward Berlin in freezing cold weather in 1944 and 45. Let's go to the videotape and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is World War II, no question about it. And like so many others who fought in the war, his is an amazing story of courage, determination, but also of human compassion. We'll talk about that. An incredible journey for this young man of 19 years old, born and raised in Reedley. But as the war heated up, he found himself suddenly training at Camp Roberts in California, then crossing the Atlantic to Scotland, then on to England by train, followed by sailing across the English Channel into France, finally onto huge trucks that took him through Belgium and into Germany. Not long after, he's in a German bunker, then several foxholes, and suddenly he's in a ferocious firefight with the Germans where 3 of his friends were killed, one of them nearly decapitated. It's the dead of winter, freezing temperatures, January, February, and March. He finds himself rationing food. By the way, they called it K-rations at the time. He's cold, he's hungry, he's aching for a shower. He's been shot at by the Germans for weeks on end as the push toward Berlin continues. But along the way, he meets a 19-year-old German woman who becomes a lifetime friend. It is an amazing story, as they all are in the World War II era. Live in our studio is Verne Schmidt, a World War II veteran, a World War II hero, born, raised in Reedley. He is here to tell his amazing story during the war in the 40s. 436 MeTV, option 11. I never get tired of hearing these World War II stories from the 40s. We're going to have one here today. We're going to have a couple of them from Verne Schmidt. Remember, if you call in, turn down the sound on your TV set so we can hear you. 436 MeTV, option 11. We're back in just a moment.
1 Adam 12.
This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
1 Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
No question, we hail these people as heroes, the World War II veterans. They're dying off, though. There are not too many of them left around the country. Nobody can actually pinpoint how many World War II veterans are left. At this point, there's no question about it. And we all know about Honor Flight, of course, here in the Central Valley. A group of veterans just came back recently from Washington, D.C. on the trip, and next year they're going to go on another one. And Verne Schmidt, our guest, is probably going to be on that trip, aren't you, Verne?
That's correct.
Yeah, you're going to go. Now, what month is that?
Possibly either May or June.
Okay.
That's the third flight, has not been settled yet as far as an actual date. But I talked to Al Perry just the other day, and he assured me that it's a go. So
have you been back there before to see it?
Yes, I have. In 2004, the year it was dedicated, our division had its reunion there. So we had 750 of our people from the 90th Infantry Division there in the as the ceremony, and it was very, very emotional. I was honored to lay a wreath at one of the memorials there. So. A great place, and taking a long time to finally come to fruition to have something there for the World War II veterans.
I want to put up some pictures up on the screen. We've got them here right now. These are pictures of you in the war. Of course, we've got three great photos here. We've got this one here. Look at that photo. Look up there, Verne. Can you see that?
Right.
What year was that? 1944?
April 5th, 1945. We were in Germany.
Okay.
We're in Germany in that picture there.
Do you know what city in Germany what that was?
Well, it was probably near the city of Fulda, which is also near where all the gold was found in those German salt mines.
All right, there's another one. Where are you at here?
This is in Wohnstrasse. This is in Bavaria, near the Czechoslovakian border. This is an honor roll of the 98 men who gave their lives in my company alone, and 8 officers who died from the Normandy, the D-Day, to May the 8th.
And another photo, and there he is. Hey, good-looking guy, huh?
Well, I was 18 years old and ready to roll, I guess you'd say.
Ready to roll, right?
That was taken here at in Fresno.
Okay. Was this before you left for Camp Roberts?
This is just before I left for overseas.
Okay. Okay. How long did you train at Camp Roberts? How many weeks?
Well, normal training there was 17 weeks, but due to the Battle of the Bulge and the casualties there, it was cut to 12. So I did not even finish basic. They gave us a delay en route, and in 1 month from Reedley, I was on the front lines.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, and I outlined it, in the monologue, and 1 minute you're in Reedley, or you're in Fresno, or the Central Valley, and a month later you're overseas. You cross the German border, and you're in firefights with the Germans. You're in foxholes, you're in bunkers, you're on the front lines in the war. Wasn't that a shock?
Yeah, I had anticipated that I would receive more training, but all of a sudden, in the bunker, the first night, my squad leader said, we jump off at 6 o'clock. And I said, what's that? He said, you'll find out. And so we were in battle the very next day, clearing out the bunkers. We called them pillboxes. They were like a big cement room that the Germans had one observing over the other. Hitler built 4,000 bunkers.
Pillboxes.
Pillboxes.
How big were they? How many feet?
I'd say probably maybe about 20 by 20.
Okay.
And a big steel door and
underground.
Underground, yes.
Right.
But everyone in the woods there, one would overlook the other, and they would all have a communication trench, maybe about 5 foot deep and about 3 feet wide from one to the other.
Did these bunkers or pillboxes, did they protect you from the Germans, or were you susceptible to being attacked?
Well, they had direct observation on us as we would be approaching. So, with the help of armor, we had tanks with us, and that could help us as far as having some more firepower than what we carried. But
how did you know that these bunkers were cleared of Germans? How did you find out?
We didn't. You just advanced to them, and as best you could. Sometimes we would go on top and drop
hand grenade.
Hand grenade, or we called it a Molotov cocktail. It was gasoline and a C4 charge down the ventilation system, and that
just to make sure.
Yeah.
just to make sure. And
but it was slow going.
So
very slow.
you fought under General Patton,
I
one and only.
I did.
Now tell us about it. You met him, huh?
Well, he came to our division right after the war and was given medals out to the various people. And
We've got some videotape of General Patton, by the way, while we're talking about him. Go ahead.
He was one great leader. I felt he was controversial, but he knew what he was doing, and I respected the man. And I'm sure with his leadership, we shortened the war. He knew he was a great tactician.
What made him such a great leader, in your opinion?
He was born, I believe he was born a leader because he was delved in history, Civil War history, World War I. He was in World War I, and he just was, he was...
Was he a step ahead of the Germans?
Oh, no question. But he respected them. He respected them. Von Rundstedt was his predecessor, or I should say his enemy, right?
His counterpart on the other side,
yeah. Was von Rundstedt during the Battle of the Bulge, and he just knew how to outmaneuver.
He strategically he knew what he was doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, he was controversial and made a few speeches that the public didn't like. Today he would be called politically incorrect, but Eisenhower knew his abilities, knew his qualities, and knew he could count on him through thick and thin. He just wouldn't give up.
And do you credit him for victory in World War II?
I do. I believe the man, as we would say today, had his feet on the ground and his head screwed on straight. He was a great leader. He was a pusher, but that's what it took.
Now when you met him, did he say anything to you?
No, I was not that close to him. He was in amongst the troops, and I have photographs of that, but no, I did not.
How close did you get to him?
Oh, that's been so long ago, I'm almost... I wasn't that close that I could say I saw the whites of his eyes, but a great guy. I have the utmost respect. I have met his granddaughter in 2008. We were over there and had lunch with his granddaughter, and she said, "You fought with my old man?" And I said, "I did." And she gave me a personalized signed autograph book that she has put together of the story of her family.
Wow.
Great guy.
Wow. Simply amazing story. We're talking with Verne Schmidt, a World War II veteran, marched into Berlin during the war. We've got a call here. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question?
It's always interesting to hear George Patton stories and World War II stories in general. And I think it's great that your guest is on there, and I think it's terrific that he's sharing his experiences with your audience. The question is, any lesser man than George Patton you think we would have gotten through the mess that was the Battle of the Bulge, etc., the Fourth Army? And that's one question. And my second question was the circumstances surrounding General Patton's death. Do you consider it, does your guest consider it to be suspicious, possibly conspiracy? Two questions for your guest. Thank you.
I firmly, in my opinion, believe that it was an accident. I was very near that. In fact, the unit I served with in occupation when he was killed in this accident was a personal friend of General Patton and furnished most of the color guard and honor guard to his funeral. And of course, we were kind of in the know there, so
yeah.
My personal opinion is, yes, I believe it was an accident. It happened. We lost a great guy.
Yeah.
But I
had would we have prevailed had it been somebody other than Patton leading the way?
All I can say is I know that guy pushed. He told us we would shave every day. We would change our socks every other day. That was mainly for discipline, and so we had we had a goal.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I did not change my socks every other day because I only had one pair.
Yeah.
And I didn't need to shave because I couldn't raise a beard 18 years old.
Yeah.
But
all right, we're talking with Verne Schmidt, a World War II veteran. A little bit of humor there. Call in, ask your questions, 436 MeTV option 11. And if you want, ask your question, but remember, turn down the sound. We're back with our guest in a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
We're back here with our guest, Verne Schmidt. He's a World War II veteran. And Verne, I got to go over this again because it is pretty amazing. We do have a phone call first, and so let's take that. Good morning, caller. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question?
Yeah, John, I just wanted to ask your guest there. First of all, I honor him with all the honor he deserves. God bless him. And my question to him is, I am a history buff when it comes to Patton and all that. Now, is it true that Patton wanted to arm the German soldiers as the war was turning so bad that he wanted to fight the Russians? He said, we've got the material here and the men and all this, and we're going to have to fight them in the future anyway. And I think he got a lot of flack from that kind of talk. And is that true, and does your guest know or has heard anything about something like that? Thank you.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
yes, indeed. In fact, the speech he made that you just related to was made at my division on June the 13th, July the 13th, 1945. I was present there when he made this speech. He said, in essence, he said exactly what you said. Let's just mount up these Germans and turn around and go get them so-and-sos. We're going to have to get them sooner or later.
So
and,
you heard the speech in person?
I heard the speech. In fact, it was held back for a while because of the nature of it. But General
Patton, it was
Patton,
controversial. Yes.
General Patton spoke what he wanted to speak.
Okay, another call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question? Fascinating stuff here. Go ahead.
Yes, it is. You have a wonderful program, and I really enjoy listening to you.
Thank
I
you.
want to thank that gentleman for his service to our country, but I never met General Patton, but he was a neighbor of my husband in Hamilton, Massachusetts. And I was invited to General Patton's home several times by his sister. And one time, his son knew my husband was very ill, and he was bringing General Patton's leather jacket that he wore during the war to this museum, and he brought it to our home, and I actually tried it on.
Oh, wow. Wow, what a story.
Man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing story. Boy.
Yes, it was.
I hope you snapped a photograph of you wearing that jacket.
You know, we didn't.
Oh,
we
well.
didn't. But
Next
he was
time.
a small man.
Yeah.
He wasn't that large. I mean, I had trouble getting into it. But the family was lovely. His daughter was lovely. They had a lovely farm. And
Yeah.
I just wanted
Well,
to tell, thank
I
you.
appreciate it. I appreciate the
thank
call.
you.
Thank you for sharing
Thank
that
you.
wonderful story. Thank you. Boy, he might have been a small man, but certainly was a giant in terms of being a leader and a legend. There's no question about it. I want to get to this story here before we run out of time. And in fact, I need to tell a couple of them. And I'm going to take our viewers back to what I said in the monologue. You know, one day you're in Wrigley, a month later, you know, you're training at Camp Roberts. You're crossing the Atlantic, going to Scotland. On what boat, by the way?
On the Queen Mary.
On the Queen Mary. Then on to England by train, followed by sailing across the English Channel into France. Finally, you got onto some huge trucks, took you through Belgium, finally into Germany. That's where you found yourself in these bunkers that you were talking about, right?
That's correct.
All right, and they're called pillboxes. And after a few days there, you wind up in some of these foxholes. And on February the 19th, 1945, tragically, 3 out of the 12 people in your infantry division were killed. Describe what happened from what you recall.
We were taking a high hill, obviously trying to find the artillery that was firing on us, and we got up on this hill.
This was in Germany now,
This was
right?
in Germany,
You had
yes.
already crossed the border.
We're in Germany, probably about 15 miles probably from the border of Luxembourg at that point in time.
Okay, so you were near the foxholes, right? Or just coming out of the foxholes, or what?
Yes, we'd come out of the foxholes from the nighttime, and then we were going up on the side of this hill.
Was this in the early morning hours?
This was probably about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning.
And the Germans set their sight on. They could see you for a couple of minutes, right?
You know, our push across there was, we were always being observed by the Germans. They had been where we were just maybe hours or maybe a day, so they knew exactly where we were. So they zeroed in as soon as we got on the top of this hill, and we began digging in to try to dig a foxhole. And there was one pre-dug foxhole that the Germans had used up there, which would hold about 3 or 4 people. And my squad leader had given me the radio the day before, and he says, "You stick with me, otherwise I would not be here today." Because when they fired, we were my squad leader and I were in this foxhole, and my other 2 buddies were digging in and took a direct hit from German artillery. Robert Roper never knew what hit him.
Roper was one of your best friends.
Right. We had trained together at Camp Roberts.
He took a direct hit, right?
Took a direct hit. Never knew what hit him. And then Irving Wigton was right alongside of him, and he had the presence of mind to holler for a medic, but he dropped.
He got hit with shrapnel?
Yes.
Okay, and you had a third one that was hit too.
Okay, he was a machine gunner. He was a little farther away from where I was, probably within 10 or 15 feet from Roper and Wigton when they were killed. The machine gunner, I don't recall his name, but he was a little bit farther away, and he took a direct hit also and was killed.
He was killed. But the Germans opened fire on you with 88 caliber artillery gun, right?
That's correct.
And did anyone else get injured in that firefight? And how did you escape that firefight?
Well, I think the Germans knew where we were, and they let us know quickly and took care of, like I say, getting rid of.
Did you guys just shoot your way out of it, or what?
No, because we didn't. This was artillery. We didn't even know where they were.
Did you backpedal back into the foxholes?
Well, we. I was ordered by my squad leader to go down and get the captain because we were a little bit disorganized at that point in time. And as I went down the hill, I was shot at with what they called a screaming mimes. It was a rocket fired at me, about 6 rockets all the way down, followed me down to the captain. But
yeah.
We as I said, we didn't see any Germans. All we took was an artillery. We took an artillery barrage from them, and
you didn't see them. You just took the direct hit.
We saw nobody.
Yeah.
We just took a direct hit.
We've got a call here. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question, please, quickly.
Hi. As a veteran yourself, and I'm a veteran, how do you feel about today's military? I mean, when we went, we did our duty, we came back. Today's military, to me, it's like they got all these. I mean, they're on TV, they're talking about stuff, and to me, it's like they're crying, or they're trying to make money off what they've done for their country. They're trying to turn a dollar over it.
Great. Thank you for the call. What do you think of today's military?
Well, it's run by politicians. I feel bad because I don't see them following. Military leaders are trained to fight. Politicians aren't trained in the military.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I don't feel too good about that, John.
All right, Vern. We'll leave it at there, and we're going to take a break here on Connect with Me. We're back with our guest today, a World War II hero, in a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Back here with Verne Schmidt, our World War II veteran, and just a slight correction. You didn't go into Berlin, but that was the goal, is to push toward the Rhine River, push the Germans on the east side of the river, and then go into Berlin. But it all changed because President Eisenhower, did he change the orders? What happened?
Well, he and Stalin, or Roosevelt and Stalin, had a little agreement there that I guess most of us didn't know about. Eisenhower could only go to the Elbe River, to the edge of Berlin, and the Third Army went south of that and headed toward Czechoslovakia and Austria. And that's where I was involved.
I see. Quick story about this 19-year-old German woman that you came in contact with in 1945. You entered her house. She was 19. Her father was there. When you entered, there were civilians, women and children, in the cellar. How many in the cellar?
There was about 23 or 24, something like that. I finally received the names from the grandchildren, who they are, so I have these.
Now, where was this house located? How close to Berlin?
Oh, this was still near the Belgium-German border yet.
I see.
Yeah,
okay.
We were just
nowhere close.
Out of the pillboxes.
All right.
Yeah.
Just out of the pillboxes.
And this was the first house. This was the first house that we found actually civilians in it.
Right.
Most homes were devastated with nobody in it.
But she was 19 years old at the time.
Right.
You guys took a firefight from the Germans right there in that while you were occupying the house upstairs. You were upstairs, right?
I was up in the second floor. My mission was not to fire, but just to observe and report back so that we could call in artillery onto the Germans.
Were you able to see the enemies as you looked out the window?
Oh yes, yeah. There was
Germans.
Oh yes.
How many?
Well, I spotted two of them and my sergeant came up and said, asked me if I'd seen anything. I said, yeah, there's two Germans there. And he grabbed my rifle and pointed it down out the window and fired at them.
Yeah, because they fired a hail of bullets toward the house through the windows. You didn't get hit. But the story about the 19-year-old lady named Maria, when the war ended, you went back several years later and met her and her family. What year was that the first time?
We went back in 1964, and I knocked on the door and met Maria again. I had to convince her who I was because I was 18 at the time, and now I was 38. So she believed my story because I related where the basement was, I related where the upstairs bedrooms were, and she began to believe that I was truly one of the soldiers that was in that house during combat.
And thus you developed a lifelong friendship with Maria.
We have been back. We were back again in 1993 and actually spent a night in the bedroom in this home with this family and met, of course, the children by then and
grandchildren.
And now we have the grandchildren came over to visit us here in Fresno in 2000, and we were overstayed.
How did you find that house, Verne, after you went back the first time, 1963?
Well, my intuition, I knew we were on the side of a hill, and I guess I just stood there, and my intuition, ESP, is that what they called it?
Yeah, it could be.
And I was right. I knocked on the door, and as soon as I came inside, I recognized it.
And to this day, you stay in contact with her grandchildren. She since has passed on, right?
Yes.
And you're very close to her family.
Oh, very much. We're on email off and on, and we'll be there in their home again next year. We plan to be over there again.
And they stayed in your home.
They've been over here twice, and the grandchildren stayed in our home. And
what an amazing story.
Took them to the school.
By the way, I read where you accidentally set Maria's kitchen on fire during World War II when all that was going on. You put it out. You didn't burn the house down, but
yes,
you recall that, right?
She showed it to me. It was still there. The marks on the floor was still there, and I asked if I could reimburse her, and she said no. But
Verne, it's good to see you, and I know you're going to go on honor flight next year. Good luck.
Thank you.
Let us know how that goes. Maybe you come back on the show and tell us how it went.
I'll be happy to, John. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. You're a hero, my friend.
No.
Thank you for your time and your service.
The heroes are the ones that didn't come back.
Well, to us, you're still a hero. Thank you for your service and your time. Verne Schmidt, a World War II hero. That's going to do it for us today here on Connect With Me. We're back with another show on MeTV Fresno tomorrow. Hey, we're going to talk to Doug Vagum about the water fight, the water wars here in Fresno. See you then. Have a good one.